Welcome back. We continue with the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown, talking about the Penguins and what they do next. So, Andrew Filipponi, looking at this team as constructed right now, they certainly need more speed. They are an older team, not an old team, and I think there is a difference to be made there. Yeah, they're getting older, but they still have guys who can play, and I think play at a high level. What do you do in this offseason to try to change the dynamic of this team and make them younger, try to get more scoring to help guys like Crosby and Malkin?
Well, I'm not a fan of the nuclear option, Bob, and that is when people say trade Evgeny Malkin, and that somehow leads you to a whole new, brand new window of winning. It's a really hard question. I'm not trying to be evasive and dodge the question, Bob, because if you think about it, how many guys do they really have that are big carrots that you can dangle in front of other teams in order to trade them to make it work for you? Like, one of the best trades Jim Rutherford ever made was James Neal for Patrick Hornquist. He took something that they had a lot of, firepower, goal scoring, and got the net front presence that they didn't have. So I guess what I'm maybe saying is he needs to go out and make a great hockey trade, but that's not an easy thing to do, even with somebody as spectacular as Rutherford as Penguins GM.
I'd like to know what you could get for a guy like Malkin. I think they need to trade one of those two, Malkin, Letang. They need to infuse this team with younger, faster guys, and the only way to do that is if you have pieces to trade, and I only see a handful of pieces that you could get something major for. Malkin, Letang, maybe Murray. I don't know what his value is right now, but I would explore all three, wouldn't you?
Well, remember, Malkin has a full no-trade clause, and everything I've been told is that he never wants to leave Pittsburgh. That's not going to happen. Letang is possible. John Marino is the real deal. I think we have all seen that. He's right-handed. He's the heir apparent to replace Letang as the Penguins' #1 defenseman. I think it will be considered with Letang, but I can tell you I would be shocked if Matt Murray is not traded this offseason. I really think the Penguins had their minds made up even before this postseason that trading him was likely. Even though, yes, I know they made him the guy to start the series, I still think they believe trading him was likely. Jim Rutherford is on record as saying keeping these two goaltenders will be almost impossible. Jari is the better goaltender right now. He will be the cheaper goaltender as well. The real question becomes, guys, what is Matt Murray's trade value? And I can't think it's all that high right now. It's hard to trade goaltenders anyway because most teams have a good one. There's only so much demand. And, I mean, listen, he's been below average the last 3 years. I don't know that you get all that much for him.
All right, let's talk about right now the situation with regard to Connor Sherry, Jarrett McCann, who was a disappointment, and other guys they have in that role. Restricted free agents are difficult. You can sign them, but the question is, what is Jarrett McCann? And I didn't think I'd ask that question after the series, but I did not see. He's a streaky player. Rich, he's a guy who's, when he's on, could make a difference, but when he's not on, I didn't see much that I liked. He got scratched in this series. What would you do with guys like that?
You know, Bob, I remember you asked a question to me and Pony, what, a month ago or 2 months ago, who's the most valuable restricted free agent? To me, it was Jared McCann. Now, no, not at all. I mean, he's a streaky guy, just like Sherry. I don't know what you do. Maybe another year changes things. I do like McCann's game. I think he's a valuable piece. I don't know where he was for this postseason, though.
Yeah,
well, he's played on a lot of teams.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Go ahead, Josh. Okay, well, look, McCann's played on a lot of teams. Okay, he's played on 3 teams in 5 years or 4 years maybe. If you're a great player, that doesn't happen. So to me, that was a red flag. Vancouver, Florida, now Pittsburgh. He's not a centerman. He's not cut from the Jordan Stahl, Nick Bonino cloth. So he's probably miscast in this series. The real problem, Bob, is that they're paying Nick Bukestad $4 million to do what? Exactly. You're going to depend on him next year? That's a tough conundrum, too.
McCann was a total bust in this series. He is an intriguing player, but you're right, Richie. He is on his 3rd NHL team. I don't think he's the 3rd-line center this team needs. Guys like Bonino, Stahl, what did they do well? They killed penalties. They shut down the opposition. They kind of played the gritty game. You need that a little bit when Crosby and Malkin are your top 2 centers. Jared McCann looks like a lesser number 2 center on a different team or a winger. They've never really solved that 3rd-line center issue since Nick Bonino left. And McCann is a fascinating case. I don't know how much you pay him this summer. I suspect they will retain him. He's a player of value. But, boy, I think he is miscast, and I think that's a real problem for the Penguins moving forward.
All right, now we have about a minute left in this segment. Let's go quickly around the horn for this week's Smooth Moves, brought to you by Pittsburgh's largest supplier of the smoothest granite, marble, and quartz countertops you're going to find anywhere. That would be Armina Stone. Rich, start with you. Your smooth move.
My smooth move goes to Richard Rodriguez. He threw a pitch, an actual pitch, in the Pirates' dugout today, and he's keeping hopes alive for the #1 overall draft pick, Kumar Rocker.
Yeah,
right.
I'm going to say my smooth move is Rick Tocchet, the job he's done with the Coyotes to get them into the round of 16.
My smooth move goes to Chris Letang with 3 minutes left in a scoreless game. Your goaltender doesn't have the stick. Do you hold the puck for a second and let him go get a stick? No, throw a blind clearing center pass to the Canadians. Great thinking, Chris.
Yeah, that's as smooth as they get. Armina Stone is Pittsburgh's largest supplier of the smoothest granite, marble, and quartz countertops you're going to find anywhere. Check them out at Armina Stone. When we come back, college football in jeopardy next.